Welcome back, Mustangs. We're working together to stay safe and smart this school year. To help support a safe return to school, we're going to review our COVID-19 safety procedures. As we all know, this pandemic continues all around us. It's important that we remain diligent and follow the outlined safety procedures to ensure that we can stay safe and smart and learn together face to face this school year. The first thing we ask is that you make the Mustang promise and screen every day for illness symptoms. Do not come to school if you are not feeling well or have an elevated temperature. We also ask that you maintain the following safety procedures we're going to outline and follow these expectations. The first step, as I just noted, was to screen daily for COVID-19 and other communicable illnesses. The number one factor in stopping the spread is remaining at home when you are ill. Symptoms include a temperature of 100.4 and above, sore throat, a new or uncontrollable cough, digestive symptoms, as well as the new onset of severe headache, especially if a fever is associated with it. If you experience any of those symptoms and have had exposure to COVID-19, whether it be through close contact or perhaps someone that you know, or maybe even a travel history, then we ask that you stay home. When in doubt, it's better to contact your healthcare provider and await their call before returning to school. If you are feeling ill or anyone in your home has a pending COVID test, so anyone that lives in your household, if there is a pending COVID test or probable COVID symptoms, it is critical you stay home. You're required by district policy to not attend if you are waiting COVID-19 testing results, whether it be yourself or someone within your house, and you have any of the symptoms that we just described. You must be fever-free for 24 hours, as well as following the outline of other communicable diseases that we practice, such as sore throats. Strep throat requires 24 hours or 2 doses of antibiotics, and so on and so forth. And again, all that information can be found in our Welcome Back to School FAQ. If you will be staying home, make sure that you report your absence to the office. That way we can continue and monitor and support you from our end. While you're at home, if you feel well enough to work, continue your coursework on Echo, and remember to attend virtual live sessions on Zoom. Remember, the Zoom classes are only available for those with COVID-19 related illnesses or quarantine, not if you are on vacation or choosing to stay home regardless of the reason. Again, those Zoom calls or Zoom sessions are only for students who are at home regarding or related to a COVID-19 illness or quarantine. If you're not feeling well enough to do work, make sure you communicate with your instructor, and traditional work makeup timelines apply. Stay safe, make the Mustang promise, screen every day for illness. You are not required to report your screening, but we ask that you do so, that you engage in the screening daily. In addition, it is strongly recommended to wear a face covering while indoors. Although not required, a face covering, especially those N95 masks, have been determined to be significant and critical mitigation strategies in helping to prevent the spread. In addition, while you're at school, please maintain your physical distance. While we're inside, especially those who are unmasked, must maintain or attempt to maintain a 6 feet radius from others, and making sure that you're sanitizing and or washing your hands regularly. As I just noted, because Meridian Public Schools remains unmasked, any close contact is determined based on 6 feet of spacing. So when possible, please maintain 6 feet of spacing from others. That includes a continued mitigation strategies in the hallway. Students are required to report directly to class, as well as before and after school. There will be no loitering again this year in the hallways. Again, everyone is to report to their classroom or depart for the day. In addition, hand washing is the number one factor in stopping the spread of any illness, including COVID-19. Making sure that you're doing so for 20 seconds will ensure that the surfaces around us stay safe and that you maintain proper hygiene. Now, what happens when a COVID-19 positive case is identified to us here at Meridian Early College? We then engage in what they call contact tracing. We have to determine who's considered a close contact of this individual or individuals. And to do so, as I just noted, we approach instructors as well as bus drivers and other coaches and activity chairs and ask who has been within 6 feet of this individual. If we are unmasked, if it is a mask situation, 3 feet radius applies. If you are determined to be a close contact, you're within that 6-foot radius for more than 15 non-consecutive minutes within a 24-hour period. This year, there are a couple options depending on your vaccination status or whether you've had a positive COVID-19 test within 90 days. Depending on those two factors will determine what your options are. Individuals who are vaccinated or who have had a confirmed positive COVID test within 90 days can remain in school as close contacts as long as they're not symptomatic and they wear a mask. Now, as you note on here, students will have the option of engaging in what we call serial testing this year. This is a COVID-19 rapid test that will be administered at Meridian Public Schools. If your family and you choose to engage in the testing, a vaccinated or a student who has had a lab-confirmed positive COVID-19 test within 90 days can remain in school and remove their mask if they test negative on that test. If you are non-vaccinated, you can either choose to quarantine for 10 days, or you can test, again, engaging in that rapid COVID-19 serial test at Meridian Public Schools on days 1 through 5, 7, and 9. And as long as those tests are negative and you wear your mask, you can remain in school. So again, there are two options this year, depending on, again, your vaccination status as well as any lab-confirmed test. That will determine your pathway. Now, for those of you who are or have been diagnosed with COVID-19 or a confirmed probable case, you, similar to last year, must isolate for 10 days from the symptoms, regardless of your vaccination status. And again, that's if you feel well enough, you're still able to attend the Zoom calls. If you're not in well enough to do so, again, traditional grading timelines apply. Similarly, over here, if you do quarantine for any non-vaccinated individuals and not engage in the serial testing, you are expected to be on the Zoom calls and maintain an attendance through participating in those efforts. The building does open at 7 a.m. However, if you arrive between 7 a.m. and 7:50 a.m. this school year, you must remain in the cafeteria. Upon entering the building, making sure you're sanitizing. You are not to head to your locker again until 7:50 a.m. You are to head directly to the cafeteria where you can choose to eat breakfast. You are to remain seated during that time and maintain the spacing by sitting in the circles on the cafeteria table. At 7:50 a.m., all learners will be released to class, at which point they can visit their locker. If you have a cinch sack, and it doesn't have to be a Meridian cinch sack, you can take that to class, but backpacks are to remain in lockers. Upon arrival at class, you're to sanitize and await for class to start. Again, we cannot have individuals in the hallway this school year again. As you move to lunch, when we enter the cafeteria, we ask that you again remain seated. You will be dismissed by tables this year. You are to remain in your selected seat, again, attempting to maintain that separation as much as possible. If you wish to get up from your seat and move around and socialize with others, you have to head outside. We will again be dismissing you by zones. You must wait to head to the line for hot lunch until you've been dismissed by cafeteria staff. We strongly encourage you to head outside. If that occurs, please attempt to maintain physical spacing while in your outdoor activities. Together, we are excited to welcome you back for this school year. I know how important it is that we continue to work together to stay safe. While you're in the hallways, again, making sure that you're attempting to keep that physical spacing. You need to attempt to keep right to keep the flow of traffic moving, and head to your assigned class or activity, again, not loitering in the hallway with others. As we depart from school this year, the dismissal time is 5 minutes earlier at 2:55 p.m. Once you've been dismissed, you'll head to your locker and you'll grab your items. We encourage you to go to the cafeteria and grab an after-school snack. This is for any Meridian Public Schools student, regardless of what you plan on doing after school, even for those of you that get picked up or ride the bus. We ask that you exit the building immediately unless you plan on attending after-school tutoring, which begins September 14th, or you have activities to go to. It's important, again, that for contact tracing, that we understand who's in the building at all times. So we do ask that you respect those departure requests. If you need to remain in the building, again, you may go to after-school tutoring and wait for your ride. I'm excited to welcome all of our Mustangs back for this school year. Together, we can remain safe and smart and stay in-person learning. I look forward to an outstanding school year. Go Mustangs!